There are calls for government to investigate claims made by former Eskom CEO André de Ruyter. In an explosive television interview this week, de Ruyter said that there are ANC leaders who are benefiting from illegal contracts at Eskom. Now, there's been widespread reaction to this, with some calling for him to be granted whistleblower protection and others questioning the timing of his claims. For more on this, let's bring in Dr. Trevor Ngwane, who's director of the Center for Sociological Research and Practice at the University of Johannesburg. Dr. Ngwane, it's lovely to see you as always. Thanks for making time for Newzroom Afrika. And some time has passed now since Eskom released that shocking statement, according to some, a very brief statement where they say through some kind of mutual agreement following a special meeting, there's been a decision made for André de Ruyter to leave with immediate effect. Since then, a lot of conjecture and speculation around what on earth is happening at Eskom, especially when you consider the optics around André de Ruyter's departure. I wonder whether you've been able to reconcile the events over the past few days to get to the bottom of what you think actually happened.
Yeah, thanks, Ayanda, and your viewership. Look, things are falling apart, not just at Eskom, but around the ANC government. Okay? So, André de Ruyter, we can call him a whistleblower of a special type, in the sense that we all know what he's saying. I mean, we know that Eskom has been and is a cash cow for the ANC, for the aspirant black bourgeoisie. Remember, the money they stole, the Hitachi Chancellor House deal when they were building Medupi. Also, Zondo Commission has implicated, many people connected to the top leadership. So we know that. But coming from de Ruyter, it is explosive. Although his intentions are not noble, but indeed, it has got very dire consequences for the ANC's prospects in the 2024 elections.
What do you mean by his motives not being, well, him having some kind of ulterior motive? His intentions not being noble, I think is the term you used.
Well, okay, it's a Saturday morning, Mr. Nyati, so we can be slightly light-hearted about this. So there's a martial art sport, not karate, not judo. It's called Tai Chi. So the principle there is that when your opponent hits you, you don't resist the blow. You yield so that the momentum of the blow of your opponent pulls him or her, to the ground or exposes them to your counter blow. So that's the game de Ruyter is playing. He was already on his way out. One, we are not sure whether he was pushed or he resigned, but looks like it's both. He was going to go at the end of March. Now his leaving has been kind of shortened. So he knew he was going out. Now he's trying to go out. He's got two intentions, I think. One is a political one, which I've mentioned, a political attack on the ANC government. The other is for his legacy, his name. He doesn't want to go out as the man who failed to save Eskom, but as the man who was the hero, the whistleblower.
I'm interested in this idea of de Ruyter having some kind of political intentions, because many people were taken by surprise when some of those claims were made just in the wake of that statement actually being released. What do we point to kind of substantiate that for skeptics who may think that, in fact, it is the ANC now scapegoating their own failures on de Ruyter?
Yeah, of course, the ANC has failed. It has failed South Africa. It is clear to everyone, at least to de Ruyter and people like him, that South Africa's problems cannot be solved with the ANC at the helm. So this is the issue. Now, who is de Ruyter? He is the representative of white monopoly capital. I mean, his history is going around, doing turnaround at Sasol, and other companies. So that's what he is. He's a functionary of big capital. And I think that his move now suggests that white monopoly capital is now ready to knife the ANC and is looking for an alternative political party or indeed coalition, to lead South Africa. And that is why, everyone is panicking in the ANC ranks. Because if, earlier, you were talking about the budget. But if you look at the budget, it's so bland, no taxes, no what, nothing. So the ANC is treading water. The ANC is scared of the big bourgeoisie. The ANC is scared of the working class who are the voters. So it's trying to survive. It's political survival. It's in political survival mode. And, Ruyter's action is contributing to its downfall.
The same De Ruyter who you say is trying to knife the ANC was put in that position, arguably some people might say, by the very same ANC.
Yes. So now, everything about what's going on, Ayanda and your viewers, it's about class strategy. So South Africa is what we can call a racial capitalist state. So it means that even the rule of the bourgeoisie, the exploitation of workers, takes it's racialized. So we've got the aspirant black bourgeoisie, Motsepe, Ramaphosa before he became president, etc. But we've also got all capital, white monopoly capital. So that dynamic between those two wings of the bourgeoisie, are very, very important in understanding what is going on. So when the ANC appointed De Ruyter, they were yielding totally to white monopoly capital. But now white monopoly capital is giving up and saying, you guys, you won't make it. Remember, load shedding is a tremendous blow to profit making. These people are losing money. They are losing their market share in overseas markets. Remember, sometimes we get confused, because you hear De Ruyter talking about renewables. But the reason he's pushing renewables is because in about 5 years, 10 years, European markets, Western European markets, are going to put carbon taxes, carbon custom duties on goods produced, using, dirty methods, fossil fuels. So the bourgeoisie are worried, especially white monopoly capital. So they do want a move to renewables. Of course, they want to make money from it. But the ANC, aspirant black bourgeoisie, is also tied too tightly to coal. So they are making money from coal. They are tied to Eskom as it is. Although we can see Motsepe repositioning himself, Motsepe won most of the tenders for renewables. So there's that dynamic. There's a fight upstairs, just as there's a fight between upstairs and downstairs, between the poor and the rich.
Sure. Your take is one of several we've heard in the last few days, and that's understandable because, as I said at the beginning of our discussion, Eskom didn't actually say much about at least the reasons why there's been this about turn for André de Ruyter to suddenly leave a month earlier than he should have. Given the window of speculation, given the fact that that leaves the door to conjecture, how do you reckon the power utility should now respond? Because we now know there's an interim CEO who's in place, and even then, a follow-up message was sent out to media houses like ours, where the utility announced that he won't be doing any interviews.
Things are falling apart. The center cannot hold. Ayanda, you can't tell me that people who failed for 15 years to stop load shedding, who failed to manage our energy resources for 15 years, we move from stage 1 to stage 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're now threatening to collapse the grid. They're going to suddenly find a solution. There's just no way. Certainly not under ANC rule. That is what De Ruyter is saying. So what goes on at Eskom now is just a reflection of the confusion upstairs. No solution from Khalid Kasim, who in any case has been working there for the past 20 years. You know, what did he do? What did he achieve? Not much.
All right, Dr. Trevor Ngwane, thanks for giving us your take on Newsfeed AM. Appreciate your time this morning. Dr. Ngwane is a sociologist with the University of Johannesburg. Once again, thanks very much indeed.